Hello, everybody, and welcome to Youth Connect, August the 20th. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Joshua.
I'm Nabras.
And I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. I hope that you guys are having a lovely week. And you know what? Obviously, to start off with our Youth Connect, we always have to do our video game of the week. So, you might know the pattern, but anybody that's new, Spotlight Game of the Week is basically shining the light on a video game that I think that you should try out. And today's Game of the Week is actually a classic dating all the way back to 2006. And today's game is Castle Crashers. So, I just want to say Castle Crashers is a side-scrolling hack-and-slash game that incorporates a small number of role-playing video game elements. Now, I gotta say that actually me and Jeffrey played this game and we had a lot of fun playing it. But let me give you the short description about this game. The story is based around the adventures of 1 to 4 knights that as they attempt to chase down the evil wizard and his army after they steal a large magic crystal and 4 princesses from the palace. Each of the 4 princesses are held captive by different villains, and the art is really cool. And the gameplay is as simple as this. You select a character and you select a starting stage through an overworld map. And after completing the stage, the player or the character has the choice to revisit or to move on to another stage. The map in the game also displays shops where the player or character can buy items and weapons using coins gathered from foes defeated, bosses, and even chests. And let me tell you, there are also a lot of fun arena stages that can be unlocked where the player character can take on challenges that unlock additional characters such as the villager, because there's over 26 different playable characters in Castle Crashers, and that's a big number. And you know what? They have a remastered version on Xbox, PlayStation, and on the Switch. So if you guys want to check it out, I recommend that you do. It's a great game. It has a lot of replayability. There's even an insane mode after you beat the normal mode. And you know what? If you guys like a hack and slash, side-scrolling, beat 'em up, I recommend that you guys check it out. Anyways, next up is Kevin. And Kevin has with us some local Canadian news and weather.
Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Youth Connect. The time is now 3:33. I'm your host, Kevin Aruja. But first, we've got the headlines. Ontario reports more than 600 new COVID-19 cases for the first time since early June. Ontario announces mandatory vaccine plans for health and education workers. Federal leaders urge not to use vaccines as a political toy during election campaign. Elementary teachers union votes in favor of mandatory vaccinations of school staff. And least but not least, COVID-19 vaccines to be mandatory as MLSE Arena stadiums in September. Ontario health officials are reporting more than 600 new cases of COVID-19 for the first time since early June. The province confirmed 650 new cases of the novel coronavirus on Friday. The last time officials reported a daily cases number that high was on June 6th, with 663 new infections. Ontario's rolling 7-day average now stands at 518, up from 399 at this point last week. The 7-day average has been climbing steadily for several weeks. On Friday, 547 cases involved people who are either unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or their vaccination status remain unknown. The remaining 103 infections involve people who are fully vaccinated. At least 135 of the patients are in intensive care in Ontario hospitals, or 77 are breathing with the assistance of a ventilator. Employers in Ontario's public education and several key healthcare settings will need to have COVID 19 vaccination policy in place for staff in the coming weeks. The province announced since last Tuesday as the provincial government navigates a fourth wave of the pandemic. It issued a news releasing saying the police policies are required to help combat spread of a highly infectious Delta variant as fall and winter approach. Ontario will therefore remain in the final step of a roadmap to reopen plan for now, pressing pause on further lifting remaining restrictions and workplace safety measures despite surpassing vaccination targets. The province will also offer booster shots to certain vulnerable populations and expand eligibility for vaccination to children turning 12 this year. Dr. Kieran Moore, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, announced the new measure at the news conference in Toronto last Tuesday afternoon. Moore has said he expects cases to rise further in the fall when people move indoors, particularly among youth and young adults who are the least vaccinated demographics will rather in classroom in September. Canada's political leader could do serious damage to the country's vaccination efforts if they engage in a charged and polarizing debate over vaccines during the federal election campaign, say people on the front lines of outreach work and other experts. The warning have come just a day after the Liberals and Conservatives clashed over whether COVID-19 vaccinations should be in mandatory for federal public servants. With the Liberals in favor of the plan and the Conservative opposed, Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole on last Monday accused the Liberals of trying to drive a wedge between Canadians through its mandatory and vaccine proposal. Trudeau fired back at the criticism, saying it was unfortunate, but it's typical of a party that has said we shouldn't be helping Canadians as much as we did during the pandemic. The charged nature of the vaccine debate was evident during Trudeau's campaign stops in Quebec, Ontario, on last Monday evening, when about a dozen protesters heckled the Liberal leader over his stance on vaccines. Trudeau responded by saying the way through this is to vaccinate, to the cheers of its supporters in the crowd. The Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, or the short ETFO, says the province call for mandatory vaccine policies in education settings does not go far enough to protect students and staff. The union, which represents some 83,000 employees, said in a release last Tuesday that its delegates have voted in favor of mandatory vaccination of school staff, with provisions for exceptions. On last Tuesday, the province confirmed reports that it would call for mandatory policies surrounding vaccines in education and healthcare settings, but came short of making the shots mandatory. ETFO President Sam Hammond took aim at Premier Doug Ford in a release Tuesday night. The province released its back to school plan in early August, mandating all students from grade 1 to 12 wear a mask indoors and on school vehicles with reasonable exceptions. The Ministry of Education also announced an additional $25 million to purchase 20,000 HEPA filters to improve air qualities and circulation at Ontario schools. And the final slide of the news is in sports that COVID 19 vaccines will be mandatory for most major sports venues in Toronto, including Scotiabank Arena and BMO Field. As of next month, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, MLSE for short, announced on Tuesday that all employees, event staff, and guests will be required to provide proof of vaccination or a negative COVID 19 test result to gain access to their arenas, stadiums, and restaurants by mid September. Other venues MLSE owns or operates include Coca Cola Coliseum, Fort Performance Center or Bank of Montreal Training Ground, and the OVO Athletic Center. MLSE also owns Real Sports, E11 Even, and Hot Stove Club restaurants. The company says dates and further details about the new health and safety protocols will be released in the coming weeks. MLSE's decision comes a week after the Winnipeg Jets announced that it will make vaccine mandatory for fans who wants to attend home against the Canada Life Centre this season. The news also comes after Ontario's top doctors announced today that vaccines will be mandatory for some high-risk settings. And to their weather's forecast, we've got sunny this afternoon. The temperature is now 29 degrees centigrade. On Saturday afternoon, we've got a slight risk of a thunderstorm. The temperature will be the same as 29 degrees centigrade. That's all to report on weather. Have a good weekend, folks. And now back to Aiden's gaming news.
Thank you so much, Kevin. You know what? I have to agree. Safety is the utmost priority. And you know what? I can't believe it's going to be so hot. Oh my goodness. But we're going to have to go through it. So I recommend staying indoors. In our second gaming news for today, Epic Games added a new game mode to Fortnite today that sounds suspiciously like the indie hit game Among Us, right down to the terminology used for its antagonists. So basically, imposters pit against a maximum of 10 Fortnite players against one another as they attempt to figure out who among them are out to sabotage the rest of the group. Normal competitors, known as agents, work to complete a series of tasks along a large map, while the titular imposters do whatever they can to hinder the group's progress up and to also include killing other players. Of course, Among Us wasn't the first game of its kind. It's actually a reworked game of the party game Mafia, also known as Werewolf. It's an in-real-life game, similar to a game of tag. That said, some have rightfully argued that Epic Games wouldn't have been interested in adding such a mode to Fortnite without Among Us breakout popularity over the last couple of years. And the folks at Among Us developer Innersloth seem to agree. They say it would have been really, really cool to collab, wrote Innersloth's community director Victoria Tran shortly after the Fortnite event went live. Like, game mechanics are fine, those shouldn't be gatekept, but at the very least, even different themes or terminology might make things more interesting. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm on Among Us's side, or Innersloth's side. You know what? Come up with your own unique idea, guys. It's way better in the end. Anyways, next up we have Joshua, and Joshua has with us some entertainment news and has us some world news and of course the very cute animal news.
Good afternoon, welcome to Uconnect. Here's what's happening around the world. Afghanistan falls to the Taliban again as US-backed government collapse. The Taliban collapsed. The Taliban took over Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, on Sunday after facing little resistance from Afghan government forces. It has been 20 years since the Taliban were removed from power in a US-led invasion after attacks on 9/11. The collapse of Taliban Afghan government comes after a week in the collapse of the Afghan government comes after a week in which the Taliban escalated its months-long offensive across the nation, seizing several key provinces, districts, and cities in rapid succession and forcing thousands of civilians to flee. Within hours of Afghanistan's president had left the country, the flag at the U.S. Embassy had been lowered in the middle of the hasty evacuation of diplomatic personnel. Afghan's President Ashraf Ghani said that it was a hard choice, but he decided to leave in order to prevent bloodshed. The Taliban released a statement saying they had entered a capital of 6 million people and were working to restore law and order. Many fear the Taliban will succeed in erasing 2 decades of efforts to expand women's and human rights in Afghanistan and remake the country. Hurricane Grace makes landfall in Mexico. Hurricane Grace struck Mexico's Caribbean just south of the ancient Mayan temples of Tulum early Thursday, pushing a dangerous storm surge. Heavy rain and strong winds threaten to destroy homes and keep tourists off white sand beaches until it crosses the Yucatan Peninsula. Grace, a Category 1 storm, had already hit Haiti, Jamaica, and Cayman Island en route to a direct hit on the Riviera Maya, which is the heart of Mexico's tourism industry. Grace Center struck just south of Tulum at around 6 a.m. Eastern Time with maximum sustained winds of 130 kilometers per hour, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. As it moved over land, Grace weakened to a tropical storm Thursday morning with 110 kilometers per hour sustained winds. The streets were littered with tree branches amid the strong gusts of winds and rain. The storm had knocked out power to nearly 150,000 customers. With little to stand in its way on the peninsula, Grace was expected to weaken slightly and then regain hurricane strength in the Gulf of Mexico before making a second landfall in Mexico later this week. Now turning to science news. Japan aims to bring back soil samples from Mars Moon by 2029. Japanese Space Agency's science said Thursday they plan to bring soil samples back from the Mars region ahead of the United States and China, which started Mars missions last year in hopes of finding clues to the planet's origin and traces of possible life. The Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency plans to launch an explorer in 2024 to land on Phobos and Martian moon to collect 10 grams of soil and bring it back to Earth in 2029. A professor at the Institute of Space and Astronautical Science said soil on Phobos is likely to be a mixture of material from the moon itself and material from Mars that was spread by sandstorms. He said Japanese research on Phobos and NASA samples from specific locations in the Martian crater can complement each other and could lead to answers to questions such as how Martian life, if present, evolved in time and place. Now turning to our annual interest news. Gray wolf pups found in Colorado for the first time since 1940s. A litter of gray wolf pups have been spotted in Colorado for the first time in around 80 years, according to state wildlife officials. Colorado Parks and Wildlife said last week that several staff members have observed at least 3 pups of the endangered species in June. The parents are believed to be John and Jane, as they were known by the Colorado Parks and Wildlife, who were seen with the pups in the area north of Denver. The gray wolf species was wiped out from Colorado in the 1940s and had been seen again in the area since Jane arrived in the state 2019. In the state in 2019, and John joined her in 2020. Now, this first pup sighting marks a major milestone in the reintroduction of the species into the state. In November, people of Colorado voted on a ballot initiative that would require the state to work on a plan to reintroduce, restore, and manage gray wolves in Colorado by no later than the end of 2023. The gray wolves are still considered endangered, an endangered species by the state of Colorado. Capturing or killing a gray wolf in the state is punishable by fine of $100,000, jail time, or loss of hunting license. This is Joshua Show reporting for Youth Connect. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
I must say, all this news, and I can't believe that an assumed extinct animal has come back. You know what? It's very nice to see that a species of animal not be extinct, because when it's extinct, it never comes back ever again. For our last gaming news, we have our board game of the week, similar to our video game of the week, but instead it's a board game that I want to really shine the light on. And today, I just want to say, my sister loved this movie, and she made me watch it. Does anybody remember the movie Goonies? Well, they made it a board game, and the theme is It's Our Time Down Here. Embark on a perilous adventure full of booby traps and treacherous treasure-filled caverns. In The Goonies Never Say Die, one player is the Goondocks Master, controlling fearsome foes from the outlaw family like the Fratellis to the legendary pirate One-Eyed Willie, while the other players take on the role of the Goonies, Mikey, Mouth, Chunk, Data, and Sloth. And they attempt to overcome cryptic puzzles and deadly challenges with teamwork, strategy, and Data's clever contraptions. Does it sound good? Will the Goonies discover the legendary riches that will save their homes, or will they follow the fate of Chester Copperpot and never see the light of day? You gotta check this game out and play it. You know what? Just from the description alone, it sounds like a video game that I could play. And you know what? If there's a video game adaptation, I wouldn't mind playing that as well. But I hope that you guys check it out or play it. And if you get it, anytime you check out a video game or a board game, I would really like you guys to send a photo, because it's very nice to see that our viewers are interested in the things that we talk about. Anyways, for our next person up, we have Nebraska, and Nebraska has with us some movie and entertainment news, and don't forget podcast news.
Hello everyone. How are you guys today? My name is Nebraska Khan and I'm your host for the entertainment news. Let's get straight into our top story. The top story is about Emmy Awards to be held outdoors due to the COVID-19 concerns. The Emmy Awards ceremony for achievement in television was moved outdoors on Tuesday in the latest setback to live events because of rising concerns over the COVID-19 pandemic. The September 19th ceremony in Los Angeles was initially due to take place indoors before a limited celebrity audience. The Television Academy and CBS have decided to host all ceremonies on the event deck at LA Live directly behind the Microsoft Theater. The Television Academy said in a statement, "The event deck in downtown Los Angeles is an outdoor space that includes a large tented area." The statement said the changes followed discussions with Los Angeles County health and safety experts. It also said there would be further limits on the numbers of those who invited to the show, including those nominated for the highest honors in US television. Unfortunately, this means not all nominees will be able to attend this year's awards. The organizers said Los Angeles last month reimposed the wearing of masks in all our indoor public settings and businesses because of rising numbers of COVID-19 infections in the second largest city in the United States. And my second story is about, and honestly, I'm very, very excited about this story. So my second story is about two actors from Canada to star in live action Avatar: The Last Airbender. The leads for Netflix's live action Avatar: The Last Airbender series have been cast, and they're both from Canada. Filipino Canadian actor Gordon Cormier and Mohawk actor Kevinto Tarbell will both be taking center stage, according to Instagram posts from both the actors. The Netflix series is based on the popular Nickelodeon animated television show that aired from 2005 to 2008. The series follows Aang, a boy who has been frozen in an iceberg for 100 years and is joined by a group of young heroes as he gains the powers to manipulate the four elements of air, water, earth, and fire in order to save the world. The lead role of Aang will be played by Cormier, an 11-year-old actor from Vancouver. On Thursday, he posted about the role on his Instagram account, writing, "Wow! I'm so honored to be casted as the legendary Aang in Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yep, yep." As for the roles of Aang's companion, Katara, who can manipulate water, she'll be played by Mohawk actor Tarbell. She most recently played Kakavut in the TV series And with an E. It's official. I'm excited to share that I've been cast as Katara in Netflix's live adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Wrote the actor originally from Ontario. I know you all have been waiting Thank you all for the love. The roles for Qatar's goofy brother Sokka will be played by 13 Reasons Why actor Ian Ozley, with the main antagonist Prince Zuko played by Pen 15 Chinese Indonesian American actor Dallas Liu, who will be in Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings this fall. So I'm very very excited for this. Just coming down below what you guys think about this. So my third and final story is about Stevie Nicks cancel US tour dates, citing rising COVID 19 cases. Rock icon Stevie Nicks has cancelled a string of upcoming US shows due to a concern over rising number of COVID 19 cases. The former Fleetwood Mac singer posted a short statement on Twitter on Monday announcing her decision. These are challenging times with challenges and challenging decisions that have to be made. I want everyone to be safe and healthy, and the rising COVID cases should be of concern to all of us, she wrote. While I'm vaccinated at my age, I'm still being extremely cautious. For that reason, I've decided to skip the 5 performances I had planned for 2021. Nicks, who's 73, had been scheduled to play shows in Colorado, California, Texas, and Louisiana starting September 3rd. Because singing and performing have been my whole life, my primary goal is to keep healthy so I can continue singing for the next decade or longer. Her statement continued, I'm devastated. I know the fans are disappointed, but we look towards a brighter 2022. Yeah, and that's all from me. As always, this is Nebraska from Youth Connect. I'll see you all next week. Thank you very much. Back to Eden.
I gotta say, I am really excited for the next for the Shang-Chi movie to come out. As being half Asian and having a full Asian cast in the movie, that is outstanding. You know, it's quite a feat, and it's going to be a really cool movie. It's going to be martial arts, which I'm a big fan of, and it's going to be a action-packed movie, and that makes it even better.
And I also would like to say, even the upcoming Avatar movie will also be full Asian
What?
cast. Yes. So exactly. So I'm just gonna talk about short thing. So if I talked about this earlier weeks, so in 2010 they released a movie after the last Airbender, but then a lot of people didn't like it because the director and producer whitewashed it. So now everyone is really really excited about this film.
I like that the fans are also interested in it, and thank you so much, Nebraska. To end it off, for our cherry on top of our Youth Connect, we need to have our live musician do some live music, and that's Jeffrey.
Hi everyone, I'm going to be playing Buffalo Soldier by Bob Marley. Buffalo soldier, tread like a rasta. There was a buffalo soldier in the heart of America, stolen from Africa, brought to America, fighting an rival, fighting for survival. I mean it's way out of the stench. To me it makes a lot of sense. How to tread like Rasta was Buffalo Soldier, and he was taken from Africa, brought to America, fighting an rival, fighting for survival. Said he was a buffalo soldier, tread like a rasta. Buffalo soldier in the heart of America. If you know your history, then you will know where you're coming from. Then you would have to ask me I think I am. I'm just a buffalo soldier, not of America, stolen from Africa, brought to America. Said it was fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. Said it was a buffalo soldier in the war for America. Why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 yeah. Buffalo soldier, driving through a lane, saying you're gonna rain, and then you wanna end. Yeah. Said he was a buffalo soldier in the war for America. Buffalo soldier, tread like a rasta, fighting on arrival, fighting for survival, driven from the mainland to the heart of the Caribbean. Saying, why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 yeah. Driving through Samoa in the arms of America, driving through Jamaica, a buffalo soldier, fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. Buffalo soldier, tread like a rasta. Why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 yeah. Why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, yeah, why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you, everyone. Keep the vibes up, and I'll see you next week.
Jeffrey, I love that positive message. That was amazing. This has been the end of our Youth Connect. I just want to say I want to thank all of my co-hosts. So thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Nebraska. Thank you, Jeffrey. And thank you, Joshua. I just want to say, guys, if you like the show, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't forget to click the notification bell.
Of course. But other than that, we will see you all next time. Anyways, guys, have a great week. Try to stay indoors and don't overheat.
And don't forget to dehydrate.
And make sure to hydrate. Very important. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for
Bye.
coming, guys.